The government's top consumer watchdog sidelined by the Trump administration, but it's ready to be unleashed. NBC News reporter Adam Edelman saying the Biden administration wants to restore the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau to help guide the nation's economic recovery and address systemic racial inequality. Adam joins me now. Adam, for our viewers who aren't familiar, tell them, what is the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and why did the Trump administration want to get rid of it?
So the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, or the CFPB, was created in direct response to the last economic crisis, the Great Recession, which was caused by subprime mortgage crisis back in 2007, 2008. It was created as a specific vehicle to police the kinds of financial products and services and institutions that helped lead to that last economic crisis: mortgage lending, debt collection, payday lending. It was progressives and Democrats have widely celebrated it since its inception, but Republicans and conservatives have, since its inception, widely regarded it as a bane of government overreach. And Trump, former President Donald Trump, and the folks he had in his administration were no exception to that. And as soon as he took office back in 2017, he immediately took efforts, especially inside the CFPB itself, to essentially sideline it, dismantle it, remove the so-called teeth from its watchdog abilities.
So let's talk about the flip side then. What is the Biden administration doing to get this agency back on its feet, and how do they plan to use it to fix some of our economic issues and deliver on some of the president's campaign promises?
So the simple answer to that is that Biden simply wants to return it to its initial mission, which is rulemaking and enforcement. So when it was first created, the powers that be, Richard Cordray, who was Obama's first CFPB director, they drew up a whole bunch of new regulations, a whole bunch of new rules, and then they enforced those rules and regulations. The manner in which payday lenders can operate, the amount of times and the kind of pressure that debt collectors can apply, the kinds of mortgage products that are available to certain consumers and how they are marketed to certain consumers. So, you know, part of what we're seeing right now in our current economic crisis that stemmed from COVID, which is actually very much like what we saw during the Great Recession, is that a lot of these dubious vehicles and predatory practices are targeting minority communities. And people of color during this current economic crisis, they are behind on their rent at higher rates, they are behind on their mortgage payments at higher rates, they are behind on their student loan payments at higher rates. So essentially, the CFPB has kind of been pinpointed by the Biden administration as a consumer agency that is uniquely equipped for him to help keep promises he's made, especially to voters of color. And what I mean by that is that, you know, a big plank of Joe Biden's campaign was that he wanted to combat systemic racism and economic racism. And the people who were going to be running his CFPB, as well as policy experts outside the agency, all told me that this agency is uniquely qualified, if strong, to take on economic racism in the various financial institutions and products I had mentioned.
All right, so it looks like the CFPB may be making a comeback. Adam Edelman, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.